Merry Christmas, everybody. We hope all is well with you, and thank you for joining us for CMB's monthly webinar. My name is Michelle Youngman. I'm with Christian Music Broadcasters. We've got a great time in store for you. Glad you're here. To get started, we're going to invite our friend Andrea Hurt to join us. She's in charge of all of CMB's communications and memberships. So hello, Andrea.
Hi, everyone. So I just have a few quick things for you guys today. First, I wanted to go ahead and remind you all that you can sign up for your 2019 CMB Gold and Silver memberships now on our website. And for me, I just am thinking what a great Christmas present that would be to myself, to a favorite employee, it's the best Christmas present. It gives all year round. But anyways, make sure you go ahead and sign up for those on our website. To all of our current members, and remember your 2018 memberships will expire at the end of this year, which is in 2.5 weeks. You're welcome. Also, registration for our music programming and on-air summits in Atlanta, which will take place February 7th and 8th, are on sale, or the registration's open now on our website. Those are going to be so great. You're not going to want to miss those. So also, we have 2 announcements for you all today. First, starting in January, these monthly webinars will be available to everyone, not just our CMB members. So we've heard how valuable they are to so many of you, and because of that, we wanted to open them up to help encourage, engage, and equip you all to impact your communities. So we hope that you'll join us again in January. And last but not least, Momentum registration. It's crazy that we're talking about Momentum already, but registration is going to open on Monday, January 7th. We've been working really hard on that. We're super excited. Just like last year, we're going to have 3 different pricing phases, but we're doing something a little different this year, and you guys are actually the first to find out. So our first phase, our early bird phase, will be available for 1 day only. So January 7th, all day, sign up for Momentum. It will end at midnight, and at midnight we will go to our next phase of pricing that will be available to the next 100 people, and then after that will be our next phase that will be available then the rest of the year. So anyways, sign up early. January 7th is gonna be the cheapest rate you'll be able to get all year. So we're super excited about that. And just prices for you for that early bird phasing will be, silver members will be $3.99. Non-members will be $6.25, and then they'll go up in price by $100 for each phase. So gold members, your registration is included in your membership. You'll still have to register though. So we'll be sending out some more information about that next week. It'll be on our website, but you know that I'm always here. You can email me with any questions, andrea@cmbonline.org. So that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoy the webinar. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you in January.
Thanks, Andrea. What's so great is that all the information that you're going to need about these events you can find online. All the speakers that Carrie Cates has worked hard to secure for our summits, and then we'll be launching Momentum. We've already got tons of speakers lined up, more than we ever had at this point in time, so we invite you to check those out. Momentum you won't get to see until January, so stay tuned on that. But we are excited about the events, being at Passion City Church in Atlanta, the Momentum Summits that are there, focusing on programming and on air. It's something that after, especially this year, we had such great reviews on the new way we're doing things at the summits, where we are taking a deeper dive after a session and being able to learn more about the nuggets that we've heard from those speakers. So check that out and see if that's something that you might be able to join us with. Well, this year we have been so honored that our friends at All Access have joined us as a sponsor. Joel Denver is the guru there, and we've just loved having him be a part of our monthly webinars, and we couldn't do it without him. And so, Joel, we just want to say thank you and hello to you, and thanks for all you do.
Thank you, Michelle. It's really been a lot of fun to do these webinars every week and support with the great work that you guys do in the Christian community, and gives us an opportunity to share with you what we're doing at allaccess.com for the Christian community. First of all, a very, very happy holiday season. Merry Christmas to all. Hope 2019 is a wonderful year for everyone ahead. And we have our Hot Picks, our year-end Hot Picks special. It's live on our site at allaccess.com. Go to the Christian music section and look for the Hot Picks, and you'll find the 5 most popular songs in our format of 2018 from your peers and what they had to say. We'll find out what their favorites are. Also, we have brand new All Access downloads from Goatee's Ryan Stevenson and its latest signee, Cochran and Company, as well as Black River Christmas, Josh Wilson's latest single, Borrow, Hannah Kerr's Split the Sea. They're both impacting in January, and you can listen to them and download them and watch the video right now on allaccess.com. Go to the music section and look for All Access downloads under Christian, and you'll find it, or go to the Christian section. You can loop in that way. There's plenty of new Christmas singles not available anywhere else, but only on All Access downloads, including Reach Records' Christmas compilation, The Gift, featuring fresh takes on classics by Lecrae, Tadashi, and Gabi, as well as new Goatee Records Christmas original from Finding Favor called Christmas on the Radio. And that wraps it up for us. Again, it's been such a pleasure to do this each week with you all. I wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year.
Thanks, Joel. Hey, before you leave, last time you weren't able to join us on our webinar because of the fires. Can you give us we prayed for you. Can you give us an update on your situation there?
It was pretty tragic. I've been through several fires in the place I lived up in Latigo Canyon in Malibu for 31 years, and we never thought that we're not going to come back to a house. And unfortunately, we got some things out, got our animals out, and Kim and I are both safe. But there wasn't enough time to get all the meaningful things in our lives out of there. And it was a total disaster. It was a total, it was totally burned out. And the insurance company is engaged, and they're working with us, and we found another place to live. So we're in the rebuilding process. We've engaged a contractor. We've engaged an architect. And so we're well on the way. We figure it's got about a 2-year project to rebuild. We really want to be back there at that property. The view is beautiful. It's clean. It's quiet up there. And it was pretty jarring. I've never been through anything even close to that. And I appreciate your prayers and everybody's prayers on our behalf. It was very surreal. That's about the best way I can see, can describe it.
Well, our friends are on here with us, and they will join us in praying, continuing to pray for you guys as you go through the rebuilding process. But know that you're loved, and we've appreciated all that you guys have done.
Oh, thank you so much. Very happy holiday to you and your family and everybody at the CMB. You guys are a great organization, and we love supporting you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, now we're going to turn our attention to our friend and incredible consultant and just a big supporter of Christian music broadcasters and Christian radio itself. And that is Mark Ramsey. We are so thrilled to have him here. He's who you guys are here to see. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Mark. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I hope you can hear me okay. And I was just trimming the tree here, so I thought I would take some time. It's a very small tree. The trimming doesn't take very long. All right. Great. Well, let me make sure my sharing works before I go through the introductions. It looks like it does, and it looks like I'm full screen. Okay. Yeah, all good. That should be full screen. Okay. I am so excited to do this with you guys. Thank you so much for the invitation today. Thank you so much for being present. This is a presentation I've had given a few times, sometimes to some Christian folks. Here's the one thing I will advise you to do right now, if you haven't done it already. If you have someone on your team who is a social media guru for your brand, get them in the room now. Have them looking over your shoulder now, because this is super important and they should be a part of this. So again, thank you to CMB. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, the whole gang, for facilitating this. And happy holidays to everybody. And Here we go. Let's learn something today. The title of this presentation is 5 Ways Social Media Can Drive Ratings. And now, let me begin by saying that I, of all people, recognize that ratings are not the only goal that you have, not even really the most important goal. You do have other goals. I recognize that. I get that. Giving is an important goal. Impact is an important goal. Reaching more listeners is an important goal. And oh, by the way, reaching more listeners is definitely positively, absolutely, unquestionably not the same as ratings. I could do a whole separate presentation on that, but let's just leave it at that for now. Reaching more listeners is not equal to ratings. So let's talk about what this presentation is not. Okay, this presentation is not about how to create viral posts. It's not best practices for post creative. It's not about frequency of posting or which platforms to use or how to use them or the form of the post. It's not about any of that stuff, right? That's the kind of stuff you can get from a million places online. There are a million books out there. There's a million best practices. There's a million social media experts that can hand you this on a silver platter. I'm not interested in any of that. It occurred to me a while ago that broadcasters in particular are really not using social media properly if in fact part of their goal is to generate ratings, which is at least some reflection of the number of people using your content. This presentation instead is about the relationship between social media and ratings. We can talk about social media till we're blue in the face, but that's not the same as talking about how many people actually listen to the radio because of social media. So here's a fact. Let me begin with the fact. Everybody spends too much time on social media, right? I think we'd all agree with that. I know I would agree with that. And here's another fact. Most everybody listens to the radio. 2 equal facts, right? Now, by some statistics, 70% of inbound site traffic for some sites, including some broadcast sites, can come from social media, 70%. But what percent of radio listening can come from social media? Do you know? Because in an ideal world, look, when you listen to a podcast and you hear a ZipRecruiter ad, ZipRecruiter knows exactly how many people are going to their site from that podcast. Do you know how many people are going to your station from your social media posts? I'll bet you don't. So let's kind of break this down. Let's begin with the basic question of what makes somebody listen to a radio station, okay? What makes someone listen? It's that basic. I'm going to argue that people listen for 2 reasons. It's either accidentally or on purpose, right? Accidentally, I'm in a car with somebody, I'm brushing across a spot on a dial, whatever. I'm scanning the dial, if people still do that, if there's still a dial. And secondly, and on purpose. I listen intentionally. It's my desire to listen. If you're going to listen intentionally because I want to listen to station X at time Y, it's because you have a motivation, right? What is your motivation to listen at that time? There's nothing accidental about motivation. You either have it or you don't. So motivation to listen is what I'm going to talk about. And in order to kind of back into that, I want to give you an analogy. And the analogy I want to give you is motivation to watch. Okay, so here I'm going to give you an example, a tragic example from my own life experience. I am on the board of the Broadcast Film Critics Association, the people who produce the Critics' Choice Awards, which are coming to you live on the CW in January this coming year. And that's awards for film and television, all kinds of movie and TV stars are there and so on. It's good. Now, in promoting that, the network, when we were on A&E a couple years ago, the network did a deal with a social media company, and the deal was that they were going to put these iPads, these iPad minis, on every table at the event. And the purpose was, since all the movie stars are sitting at the table, the TV stars, the movie stars, that people would hit that button and automatically take a celebrity selfie, tweet it out. It would automatically be hashtag. Great news for the event, great news for the network, great ratings boost, etc. They spent about 40 grand on that, by the way, that promotion. Here was another promotion they did the same year. There was a tweet thing where you could buy a star a drink just by tweeting it with the right hashtag, and then off to the table would come a bottle of their favorite champagne or whatever. So this got a lot of press. There it is in Digiday. Now, how did it actually work in terms of ratings? Well, let's start by social media before we get to ratings. The awards, which aired Sunday, had 1.8 million Twitter users talking about the event with a total of 8.5 million impressions, according to Nielsen. That's a lot of impressions, right? 8.5 million. That's a lot of impressions and a lot of Twitter action. To give you an idea of what a good rating is, take a look at this picture. This is from that network, A&E, a couple of the shows that they had on at the time. Bates Motel had 1.3 million viewers. Damien, which was canceled, had 500,000 viewers, which means 500,000 is bad. Longmire, which they canceled because the demos were too old, had 3.5 million viewers, which is a good number, period. A couple of other series, 1 million. So Bates Motel, 1.2 million. That to them is an adequate number. 1.2 million. The Critics' Choice TV Awards drew 522,000 total viewers in its first year. Oops, 522,000. So let's break it down. We had 8.5 million social media impressions. We had 1.8 million social media uniques, and we had 500,000 viewers. Now, of what value are 8.5 million impressions if they can't give you more than 500,000 viewers? For all I know, for all anyone knows, they would have had the same number of viewers with 0 social media, just because they were accidentally there from whatever was on the air before the show started. So this is a social media fail, right? That's what we're trying to avoid. Now, that's because they used the wrong metrics, they used the wrong goal, they used the wrong goalposts, they celebrated the wrong victories, and as a result, the social media guys were superstars, but at the end of the day, they're left holding the bag. So now let's shift to motivation to listen. Motivation has to be activated. Well, how do we do that? Just keep in mind that there's no engagement without activation. Engagement is the word we love to throw around in social media, right? Engagement, engagement, engagement. You know what engagement means? Likes, shares, comments. You know who that means engagement to? Facebook. You know who it doesn't mean engagement to? You. There is no engagement without activation. Likes, comments, shares. This, my friends, is Facebook's game. You are playing Facebook's game by playing this game. And I know you may say, but wait a minute. If we don't have likes, comments, and shares, our material doesn't get distributed without advertising, without spending money on it, because organic reach on Facebook rounds to 0 now. Thus, we need like, comments, and shares. My friends, Facebook's in the same business every commercial radio station is in, selling advertising. If you want reach on Facebook, put out something that's good for you and then put money behind it. If you count on likes, comments, and shares, you are playing Facebook's game, not your own, and you are wasting your time. So you can win at social media and lose at radio. That's my bottom line point. Stop trying to win at social. If you've got someone coming in saying, hey, look at all the shares we got on this post, ask them, and what exactly did that do to listening? See if they have an answer. So what activates motivation? Let's get back to that. These are the 5 things. These are the big 5. FOMO, social proof, enlist influencers, POV, WIIFM. Normally when I do this, I ask people to guess what these things are, and there's usually some people who guess right. But in this case, because I'm here and you're there, I will tell you what this stuff is, okay? FOMO, that's fear of missing out, which is the most important one, by the way. Social proof, enlisting influencers, point of view, and what's in it for me. Let's begin with the most important one, fear of missing out. Okay, here's the definition. The anxiety that an exciting or interesting event may currently be happening somewhere you're not. Okay, you don't want to miss out. There's another close acronym to this, FOBLO, FOBLO, which is fear of being left out, which is why we have problems with social media in schools, especially for young girls. So this is one of the most important pictures I'm going to show you about fear of missing out. It's really, really important to understand this, and this is the best way I can convey it to you. Fear of missing out has 3 components, past, present, future. What the heck am I talking about? That means you missed this, past, you're missing this now, present, or you will miss this, future. That's fear of missing out. You either missed it, you're missing it, or you're gonna miss it unless you do something to change that. So in action, if you didn't listen to something, you missed it. If you are not listening now, you're missing it. And if you don't listen in the future, you'll miss this. Can you see that this has a connection to teasing? This has a connection to being specific. This has a connection to benchmarking. This has a connection to directing people to the station at particular times and for particular reasons that are specific. Okay? That's fear of missing out. Past, present, future. I'm going to show you a lot of examples through this, and I'm going to go through this as quick as I can. So here's one from Z100. You can win some kitty cash if you know the phrase that pays, etc. Listen weekdays at these times, along with a graphic that says the exact same thing. That's going to avoid fear of missing out, right? It tells you exactly when to listen and for what. I don't need an inspirational quote. I need coffee. That image is a Trojan horse for the call to action, which is written right at the top there. We're live on air with the Elvis Duran Show. Tune in. You're missing the Elvis Duran Show. Tune in now. The picture's just a Trojan horse. This is a thing from Steve Harvey. You may remember there was a story a while back about Steve Harvey posting a note complaining about people bothering him in his dressing room. This is his note. But look at the material below that note. They're talking about this on the air right now. In other words, this is what you're missing if you're not listening to us right now. Okay? It directs people to the station now. Here's a photo from the Elvis Duran Show. We are chatting with Dr. Oz about detoxing for the summer. Are you listening? Right now, this is on. Okay? Couldn't be more specific than that. All good. Here's another one, The Burt Show, Atlanta. She wants to break up with her boyfriend and potential fiance. Another girl setting up her boyfriend to catch him cheating. This is a segment that, why do we want to talk to you on Monday? So this is the name of the segment that appears on The Burt Show. And this is that segment recorded, which shows you what you missed, right? You missed this. You weren't listening and you missed this. It could be improved if it said, catch the next one next Monday at time. Okay? Here's another one. Q100, Atlanta, I believe. What do you want to ask Normani? She's made it to the semifinals in Dancing with the Stars. We're interviewing her tomorrow morning. Now they've told you who's on tomorrow morning. They've told you to listen tomorrow morning, and they've invited you to give questions so that you can tune in tomorrow morning and hear your questions asked. It's a perfect loop, right? We're going to do this tomorrow. Ask us what you want us to ask her, and we will ask it then. Listen tomorrow. It's perfect. Another example. This is another clip this one's from a podcast where they actually have a clip of the podcast they post along with a tease. Subscribe to be the first to hear it there at that link. And that's a great example of using a clip from a podcast. You can do it from a radio show too, and saying, here's what we're going to be playing tomorrow if you have a segment coming up tomorrow, for example. This is one of the platforms, by the way, that allows you to create those segments in case you don't know how. It's called Headliner. It's my favorite one. And it allows you to create something like that, which is called an audiogram, an audio clip with a photo attached. Really simple platform. It is free, I believe. So I recommend you use it. It's my recommendation. Now, some of these examples I'm going to show you are not good. Here's a bad one. From some station in Topeka. For some reason, whenever I want to think of average radio, I go to Topeka in my head. I don't know why. Hope there's nobody on from Topeka. Come out for a chance to receive Victory Fighting Championship tickets and McDonald's gifts. We'll be here till noon. Well, let me stop my life now so that I can go to McDonald's for a chance to get a ticket to that. What does that have to do with listening to your radio station? Now, granted, this is probably driven by the sales department. Not a good excuse, okay? Lots of things. Cars are driven by the sales department. That's not going to get you any listeners either. Okay, that's FOMO. Let's go on to social proof now. Social proof means if others are doing it, then it's the right thing to do, okay? So you have proof that something is done by a lot of people who are like me, thus I want to do that too and be in their presence. Here's an example of Q100, again, Atlanta. They went to Vegas for a Britney concert. It was a Q100 sponsored trip, and there are all the pictures from it. It's something everybody did. It's social proof that it's the right thing to do in the presence of a brand for whom it makes sense. That's good. Here's a little Facebook Live thing from 1010 Wins, where John Montone is talking about some news event. This is a news station talking about a news event in a Facebook Live, gives you an opportunity to interact directly. That's good. Social proof, 540 views. That's the beginning of social proof. There are 540 other people who value this like I do. Here's another one from Z100 with more than 3,000 views at the time I took this picture. And this is one of the members of the morning show talking about Mother's Day. And that's, again, you know, social proof means 3,000 other people like me talking about something at the same time, right? We don't know how many people are listening to radio right now along with me, but I can certainly see how many people are watching this video along with me. World famous K-Rock, keep listening this weekend for your chance to win sold out tickets to the Weenie Roast. Sold out means social proof, right? That means everyone wants to go. We're going to give you tickets. So now you also have a tease, which means fear of missing out. This could be improved if they say, you know, listen at these times this weekend for your shot. That would make it better. Number 3, enlist influencers. This is something that virtually none of you are doing. I'd wager a guess, and you should be. A person or group that has the ability to influence the behavior or opinion of others. That's an influencer, along with the, you know, all-time great influencer, Kim Kardashian. Not your influencer, but a influencer. You got to give me that. Now, wait a minute. Are all influencers created equal? Well, a useful influencer is one who will amplify your message. A useful influencer is one who will amplify your message, not just any old message. So, for example, if you're a radio station in Northern California who decides to change your name temporarily to Nelly 1057, and you play Nelly's Hot in Here on a loop for 24 hours, it's a safe bet that Nelly's going to pay attention. Somehow, when you change your name to a music artist and play one song for 48 hours, lightning strikes and they pay attention. I don't know. I can't imagine how that could be, but somehow it works with ego. So that's not likely to be what you're going to do. So how do you apply this? Well, here are 2 influencers. Which one of these is more useful? Well, the one on the left, you know. The one on the right, you don't. The one on the right, her name is Katie Dillon. Katie is someone who's known here in San Diego, where I live. Katie is known as the person behind something called La Jolla Mom, which is kind of a luxury travel, lifestyle, Southern California, San Diego family blog and media platform with, you know, places to go, things to do, discounts to be had, great stays and recommendations and all that. Anyway, this is Katie's at the heart of this one person. But see, Katie is regional. It's La Jolla Mom, which is San Diego. It's not U.S. Mom. See the difference? She's regional. Kim Kardashian is not regional. Kim Kardashian is presumably international. So that's, I meant to say, let's see. So that's her website. This is her Facebook page for Katie. You'll see she's got 18,000 people liking her page. It's well higher than that now, by the way. This is several months old. On Instagram, she has 35,000 followers. And on Twitter, she has 84,000 followers. This is one woman in San Diego, California. She is an influencer here, not there, here. You, in your market, have influencers that are relevant for you, that can reach families, that can reach women, that can reach Christians, people with big followings in your backyard. How are you integrating with them? How are you tying into their social media efforts and they into yours? How are you integrating them into what you do on air? Those are important questions. So who are your influencers? Number 4, point of view. Why should they get this from you? When you post something, everybody wants to post, you know, BuzzFeed, right? Because everyone watches BuzzFeed videos. But why do they need to get that from you? Does it reflect your brand's point of view? Why make your brand the destination for BuzzFeed videos, for example, when anybody's brand could offer that? Why does it need to come from you? Again, 1010 Wins. Here's a picture of a fire on the Lower East Side. This is what they do. I mean, if a news station's not going to do this, who will, right? So it's absolutely fits the point of view of the brand. Again, The Burt Show. Like the reworked version of Foo Fighters' song that Blair Crimmins and the Hookers did for Kristen so-and-so and Bart's wedding. Kristen and Bart are people on their morning show. So they had a band do a cover version with different lyrics of a well-known song for members of the morning show. This is that recording. So this is both fear of missing out, you missed this, and it's also, it couldn't be more appropriate. Of course I'm going to get this from them. Who else would I get this from but the morning show for whom these two people worked? Another one from San Diego, Z90. A great mom and me picture from back in the day. Can't you see the resemblance? Well, that's mom, that's me. So this is obviously a personal photo from someone at the station in San Diego, one of the talents in the station in San Diego. So who else but that talent would have a personal photo? That's a personal way to share something personal about a holiday that we all can appreciate and relate to. Again, very, very similar. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. There's a then and now picture from that personality with his mom. I mean, that's personal. That's the point of view of this station and that talent, and that makes all the sense in the world. Compare that to this same station. Hope everyone's having a happy Mother's Day, because clearly all those people in Stock Photo USA are celebrating Mother's Day in that photo. I think that's Mother's Day. Plus, know the phrase, today's hit music is on Z90, which has nothing to do with mother. That's just awful, right? So waste of digital space. If you have a quota on posts and you're putting out stuff like this, reevaluate your quota. You're wasting your time. GCI Chicago, it's official. Kevin Hart reveals news about his wife. I can get this on any, I know GCI is an urban station. I don't care. I can get this on any site that targets any issue that matters to African Americans, right? If they said, and we're talking about it right now on air, totally different story, right? Totally different story, but that's not what they're doing. They're just acting as a news outlet. Do I need another BuzzFeed? Do I need another Wall Street Journal? No. Drake hooked up with his cousin and Drake hooked up his cousin and her date for prom. Again, why do I need to get this from them? Sure, it fits their point of view, but it's irrelevant. Here's one from Q100, which is a top 40 station. This makes me so happy, which is a bunch of bears on a hammock. Fabulous that you're reading Boat's World and that it has 16 million views, 99.999% of whom will never, ever encounter your radio station. Who cares, right? Are you ready for this possible idol judge? Katy Perry. Again, I can get this from anywhere. Why do I need to get this from you? Now, some of you may be listening to this thinking, well, but is doing that period bad? Or is it just doing that in proportion that's key? Yes, doing it in proportion is key. I'm not saying never do things like this. I'm saying if you do things like this without recognizing that you're violating all the reasons why social media can and should help people listen to your radio station, you're making a big mistake. You're wasting your time. If you are republishing material that appears on BuzzFeed, you help BuzzFeed, period. Here's another one from K-Hits, another CHR station, top 40 station. A Christmas Story, the musical, is coming to Fox. Now, I don't remember what market K-Hits is in, but the musical is not being shot in their backyard. It is airing on network television. Why in the world do I need to get this from you? Are you talking about this on the air right now? And oh, by the way, if you are, I'm not interested enough to listen. So thanks for letting me know. I'll make sure to avoid this station. Another one, same station. They're full of them at this station. Love letters delivered 72 years later. Unless Mr. Rolf Christofferson is in your audience and in your market, and you at your top 40 station have a lot of probably 95-year-old listeners, I suggest this is a bad idea, okay? The breakdown on Mother's Day, again, K-Hits. Moms are worth every penny. Here's how much Americans spend on Mother's Day. Again, this is just repurposing the kind of nonsense we see published everywhere, the kind of clickbait we see everywhere, simply because you can, not because you should. And of course, BuzzFeed, Z90, who's ready to try this downtown tonight? Laugh out loud. I'm laughing at you, Z90. I'm laughing at you. V100. Okay, you like Jay and Silent Bob. It's the 4th. Fabulous. Now, so what? Despite the fact that I don't think that Kevin Smith is, despite his weight loss, has never ever been that thin. So again, what does that do for me? So you get the idea. Number 5, this is the last one. What's in it for me? What is in it for me? This is more kind of stuff that you would be familiar with. Just make sure that when you're posting something, there's something of value for somebody. Is it educating me, informing me, making me smile or laugh, relevant to my life, fostering a sense of community? Is there anything there that is really for me, or is it just literally wasting my time, Facebook noise? Happy Mother's Day. What's the best place to take mom for brunch? Aha! You're giving me ideas on where to take my mom for brunch on Mother's Day. That's hugely valuable to me, right? It solves a problem I have right now. Our friends at K-Love, has God answered your prayers in a big way recently? This is solving a problem I have right now, right? What's in it for me? Well, that's why I listen to K-Love and your station, because you're solving a problem I have right now. This is illustrating that problem on social media. Again, from K-Love. Has God answered your prayers in a big way? Solving the problem I have right now. This is really well branded. This is not the kind of thing I can pluck from any old site. This looks like it comes from K-Love because it does come from K-Love. Again, Z90, in case you're a terrible songwriter and a son, daughter, and totally forgot that Mother's Day is tomorrow, check out some places around town you can take her. You're welcome. Again, good. Solving a problem that I have. GCI Chicago, sad story coming out of Cincinnati after getting bullied in school. A young boy was found dead days later. Now, just for the record, GCI is in Chicago, not Cincinnati. That's why people in Chicago do not know how to spell Cincinnati. So in general, if you're doing a story about someplace other than the market you're serving, check yourself before you wreck yourself, okay? Again, K hits. I feel like an old man today because I spent most of it filming hummingbirds in the back. That's a video in the backyard. Now this is a top 40 station with video of a guy who says he feels like an old man with hummingbirds. I mean, I don't know. I should just drop the mic and leave right now. No, not yet. I have one more for you. That's the great Powers Booth. You recognize his face. When around the time that I was putting this together, Powers Booth passed away, which is, for anyone who loves and regards Powers Booth, that's awful. But again, this is a CHR station. This is a top 40 station. Women, 12 to 34 years old. Even their grandfathers barely know Powers Booth. Don't waste my time. So, summing up, have I made that clear? Fear of missing out, which by far is the most important thing. If you take nothing else away from this, then remember, you missed it, you're missing it, you will miss it. Remind me about, rub my nose in the fact of what I missed. Remind me to tune in now for what I'm missing, and let me know about stuff that's coming up before I miss it. Social proof and list influencers point of view, what's in it for me? Now, here's where it gets fun, because Michelle's going to tell you she's going to send out an assignment for you. Usually these webinars are not accompanied by work. This is one of those exceptions. She's sending out a worksheet to you guys. This worksheet's going to look like this. Item, FOMO, social proof, and list influencers. Our point of view, what's in it for me? The item down the side, here's what I want you to do. Inventory your social media for one full day, 24 hours. Go through from top to bottom or start to finish, but not both together, okay? Top to bottom. Put the item there in the top row, and then just check the box. Does it fulfill? Which of those things does it fulfill? You will have items that don't fulfill any. That's okay. Just make sure you hit the notes in sufficient quantity to make your investment in time, money, and energy in social media worthwhile, okay? So that's it. For those of you who don't know me, I do research. Here's a link to the Christian facing page for the company, Mark Ramsey Media. It's mrmchristian.com. That's how to reach me. FaithBright, by the way, is the new email newsletter I'm putting out starting about a week ago, strictly for Christian broadcasters. And you can find the link at mrmchristian.com. And back to you.
This is awesome. And I'm so glad you didn't leave when you said I should just leave right now, because I would die. No, just kidding. It was great. Mark, we got a couple of questions though. First of all, you talked about influencers. For our radio stations listening, where is the best place to find local influencers?
That's a good question. Ask your social media people that question. And if they don't know, suggest that maybe they find out quick or get replaced. Because if you're working in social media in Market X and you don't know or can't quickly find out who the influencers are in that market, the people who wield big social media followings in that market, then that's a problem. Through some searching on social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, they should be able to find out who these people are. I did a conference a few years ago. We were looking for YouTube influencers. And while we were up there on the stage, the guy who was there with his YouTube influencer for his market said, I just searched through some of the markets where you guys are located and found YouTube influencers in your markets that you don't even know about. So that's not my skill set. I don't know how to do that. My guess is it has to do with searching through social media platforms. I use Sprout Social. Other people use HubSpot, or not HubSpot, but there are a variety out there. But try this. Google, how do I find social media influencers in my market? And see what comes up. That will be the first move of your social media expert when you ask them that question.
That's great. Okay, next question for you. What should be the quota on post each day?
Okay, that's in the category of things that I wasn't building this thing to tackle, because there's tons of best practices on that. I can't give you that number. Those numbers are out there. If you Google that, you'll see a bunch of recommendations that are probably fairly consistent. My usual bottom line on that is as much as you can, as long as it's worth it. As long as it's worth it. There's some situations for commercial stations, I run into this, where the social media effort is really intended to drive people back to the station's website so that they can monetize them for next to nothing at the station's website. Well, that's all good. That's kind of like, so now you're in the business of monetizing your website? Is that what I'm to understand? So instead of bringing people to the radio station where they're worth probably 100 times what they're worth on the website, you want to monetize them with banner ads on the website. Is that right? Yes, in some cases. So I can't tell you exactly what that number is, but that knowledge is out there in a variety of different sources.
Well, that's where Google's our friend once again, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to avoid. That's why I wanted to avoid that, actually, because that knowledge is so out there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next question for you. Is there a good way to use local advertisers, business underwriters as influencers that don't feel too salesman-y?
Yes. And that's going to depend on who they are. I'll give you a for instance. Some of you know I do some work in podcasts. I just did a thing with my friends at Wondery for celebrating the 25th anniversary of the movie Philadelphia, which was Jonathan Demme's movie with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington. And it was for Coke. Coke funds RED, which is the anti-AIDS project. It's the 25th anniversary of Philadelphia, and it's also World AIDS Day on December 1. So Coke and RED spent a significant amount of money for 2 episodes of a podcast that talked about this movie and why this movie matters today and so on. You can listen to it for yourself if you like. It's good. Yeah. That's an example of how you can work. I mean, can you work with Coke to do something that helps you via social? How about working with Coke that's something that helps you, period? Helps maybe creates content for you to talk about on air, creates something for you to put on the website, creating something for you to do on social, all at the same time. In other words, don't think of it so small. Think of it as big. Whoever your partner is that you're talking about, what is it that they need? What's a win for them? What's a win for you? How can you create something that wraps both those wins up, that isn't conventional underwriting, that isn't conventional advertising, that could be an event, it could be an experience, it could be a product, it could be a service, it could be any of those things. It could be a podcast, in my case. and see if you can come up with some good ideas. That,
Okay,
by the way, is the future. That's the future. The future is not getting money from advertisers for advertising if you're commercial. The future is getting money from donors, from fans, from listeners, from underwriters, and from brands.
Mm. And that really translates well into our last question, which is, how can we try your ideas during share-a-thons?
I guess I don't understand why during share-a-thons is any different. Or do you mean, okay, does the question mean how can I direct people to the station at share-a-thon time through social media? Is that the question?
Well, look, let's just take the FOMO, for instance. How can you use that application when it comes to share-a-thons?
Okay, I'll make it real easy. If you're going to have something in there that say, hey, we're asking for your money all day today and for the next 5 days, maybe a better bet is saying we have a certain event happening on the air, not a share-a-thon. We have a certain event. There's an experience. In other words, here's the irony with our format. The one time we ask for money, we do it by taking away the one reason why people come to us all year long. So keep in mind that if you want to use social media, share-a-thon or any other time to attract people to your station at a particular time for a particular reason, make sure that what you're attracting them to is for them, not for you. Super important. So do you have an artist on the air? Do you have a performance in the studio? Do you have, some kind of experience going on that I need to listen to in order to appreciate? See what I mean? Such that I would tune in specifically for it. And around that, you can put your share-a-thon ask. But don't make the share-a-thon ask the ask for social media. That's like saying the IRS putting out a note saying, we're going to be looking for your taxes on April 15. Share, comment, or like.
Or dislike, right?
That's right.
Well, Mark, this has been fantastic. We firmly believe social media is our second mic, so it's always good to dive deeper into it. So thank you for doing that. And as he said, we just challenge you guys to take some time, work through that worksheet, and see where your strengths lie, where your weaknesses lie, so that going into 2019, you can kick it out of the ballpark. So next month is January 9th will be our next CMB member webinar, except for it's not for members only. We are opening it up to everyone. So mark your calendar. It'll be January 9th. It'll be at noon Central Time. We look forward to seeing everybody there. Have a wonderful holiday season, and thanks again, Mark. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys so much, and Merry Christmas to everybody.